Beautiful. Let me pull up my 60-minute sheet of questions. No peeking, Duncan.
Go ahead.
Duncan Rowland, Executive Officer of Stockfeed Manufacturers Council of Australia. Thank you for joining me here for a quick chat about what your role is within the industry. Can you take me back to your growing up years, where you started out and what drew you to the livestock industry and the country?
Yeah, look, grew up in Sydney, as a matter of fact, and spent my formative days wanting to get out of the city and getting into the country and working on farms. And as it turned out, that's what I did. I ended up in the Kimberley and worked on cattle stations up there, came back down, did an ag degree in Wagga with Charles Sturt Uni, and then went out into agriculture from there.
So you were one of those rare kids that knew from a young age exactly what they wanted to do?
Well, kind of. But agriculture was always on my card.
You were an outback ringer at one point?
I was, yeah. Very lucky, yeah. I was up in Kimberley's and on Carlton Hill Station, and that was just a huge experience. It was fantastic. It cemented what I wanted to do in life.
Let's give a plug to something else. Where are we? This is amazing.
Presently at Seabull, Yarrawonga, and we've just finished having, yesterday we had a dairy forum, Stockfeed Manufacturers Dairying Forum, and that was fantastic. We had great discussions and a good night overnight with a combined dinner with the Grains Industry Association of Victoria, and today we've just finished a combined meeting of the Grains Industry Association of Victoria as well as Stockfeed Manufacturers Council, and brilliant. But this location was just fantastic.
Teresa, Pete, thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Good job. Without drilling into the detail, what were some of the big action item topics to discuss over the last 2 days through Stockfeed and Grains?
Well, I think for Stockfeed and Grains, it's really about supply and demand, and interesting to see where we're headed with that. And that's obviously highly dependent on the weather. Going back to the supply side of things, we'll definitely see a cut in production and compared to the last 2 years. And yeah, it'll be, they're the big ones. The other one was the energy systems. And then again, labour. The ongoing issue of labour is just never ending.
And some really good chats yesterday about antimicrobial use, sustainability, and the outlook for dairy from a few speakers there from DA, and I thought some really good input from Fonterra as well. What are some of the key challenges facing the stock feed industry over the next 3 to 5 years?
It's really about our transparency. It's about making sure that we own and develop systems that that provide us with a robust operation outwardly. You know, we need to be transparent in what we do. Another issue will be working with retailers and other industry sectors, livestock industry sectors, on developing programs for sustainable sourcing of product. And unfortunately or fortunately, you know, the EU has already legislated for deforestation. So we need systems in place. We've been caught short on that. And, you know, we're now starting to think about that.
Systems in place to show the food origin and where it's come from.
Yep, but also making sure that product that we feed, that we provide to animals, meets that EU legislation as well.
Insects, where are we at? We're going to be taking in loads of grasshoppers to feed to our animals in the next couple of years. Do you see that on the horizon?
Not grasshoppers. Grasshoppers will go into human consumption, and but black soldier fly larvae and mealworms will definitely be used as a source for protein in the future.
Any idea where insects might fit in terms of a feed input category when it comes to ruminants?
So the great thing about the great thing about our legislative arrangements here in Australia is that we have 8 different pieces of legislation, one for each state. And even though we gave everyone something for, a draft legislation for ruminant feed ban arrangements, we now have 8 different pieces of legislation, all very different. So on the East Coast...
Gosh, the work you must do reading all that sounds like the work I've got to do on a spreadsheet this afternoon.
That's exactly right. So 8 different pieces of legislation, but 5 of those pieces of legislation allow insects to be used for ruminants if they're not fed meat. At the moment, the insect industry is steering clear of making sure that they don't feed insects because to ruminants, for the simple reason that it's just too risky from a business perspective. So they're stepping back and they're really concentrating on poultry, aqua feed, and pet food. They're the 3 big ones, and they can't keep up for that as yet. So a lot of growth in the insect industry still to go.
If we were to invent another public holiday, what would you make it be and what would it celebrate?
I think the ACT has a public holiday, and it's only the ACT that's got it, and it's Reconciliation Day. And I think we need one.
Good suggestion. Thanks for bringing it up.
No problems.
Didn't know it this far south of the ACT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good on you.
Well done, Duncan. That's awesome.